Good morning, everybody. It's lovely to see you all here. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you about the wonderful work of the Leprosy Mission. I have a picture over there on the table. And for many, it would seem that the Leprosy Mission, or the leprosy problem, is something that's back in the Bible, and it stayed there. But believe you me, it's not. Every 2 minutes I'm standing here, somebody in the world will be diagnosed with leprosy. And each year there are 258,000 new leprosy diagnoses made. So it is something that's still very much with us. Now, I don't know how much you know about the Leprosy Mission, but I'm just going to give you a whistle-stop tour of some of the important years in the Leprosy Mission. The first one being 1874. The mission to lepers is born when friends of Wellesley and Alice Bailey promised to raise £30 a year to help leprosy sufferers in India. In the first year, they raised £600. In 1884, Mary Read, the mission's first missionary, became superintendent of Chandag. From 1917 to 1937, over the next 20 years, people with leprosy are offered hope for the first time as treatment with the Chalamugra oil becomes widespread. Injections are painful, and only a few are cured. But the era of cure sees the outlawing of the word asylum and the introduction of its replacement, hospital. The 1940s, the treatment breakthrough. The first cure for leprosy, dapsone, is introduced. Over the next 15 years, millions of patients are successfully treated. In 1946, Dr. Paul Brand and colleagues at Karigiri, South India, pioneer life-changing reconstructive surgery to correct leprosy-related disabilities. And this next date I found is quite strange. It wasn't until 1965 that the Leprosy Mission, to avoid the negative connotations of the word leper, changed it to the Leprosy Mission. So the word leper no longer was used after that. But that was quite late on, I feel, really. In the 70s, in 1981, the World Health Organization recommends a new combination of drug treatment for leprosy, multi-drug therapy to overcome dapsone resistance. Dapsone did so much, but it didn't overcome enough of the resistance of the actual disease. People cured in as little as 6 months. In the 1990s, as more people are released for treatment, care after cure for people with lasting disabilities becomes increasingly important in social, economic and physical rehabilitation. So the healing is becoming a wider thing. It's becoming all aspects of people's lives. From 2000 onwards, the quest for a leprosy vaccine continues. Although leprosy is now completely curable, there are still over 258,000 new cases, as I said, a year diagnosed. The challenges of treating and rehabilitating those affected by leprosy while breaking down the stigma of the disease still sadly remains. In our reading we heard from Psalm 18, "For who is God besides the Lord? And who is the rock except our God? It is God who arms me with strength and keeps my way secure. He makes my feet like the feet of deer. He causes me to stand on the heights." Can I just say that any biblical input into this has been with the help of my local manager. I'm a speaker rather than I'm a preacher, so I'll do my best. Every new achievement, every extraordinary find, every path never trodden before throughout history has been met by dissenting voices of unbelief, prejudice and negativity. Over 67 years ago, on May the 6th, 1954, something incredible happened. something that merely intelligent people said was impossible and would start a heart attack. Roger Bannister, 25-year-old medical student, became the first person to run a mile in 4 minutes. Within a year, there were 37 sub-4-minute miles recorded. By the end of 1956, 300 runners have broken this belief barrier and reached this greater height. One person who knows all about overcoming a massive challenge is Paralympian Steph Reid, who won silver medals in the long jump in London and in Rio, and is a former world champion. Steph says, "When I lost my leg in a boating accident at the age of 15, I was completely devastated. One of the things that got me through is daring myself to go to greater heights. I was blessed with the opportunity to study biochemistry at university. I also had access to the state-of-the-art blade, which enabled me to become a Paralympian." Steph had spent time at Anandaban Hospital and Research Lab. It is my prayer that people affected by leprosy can also reach the heights they deserve. I will never forget the exhilaration of running up the 365 steps at Anandaban Hospital and Research Lab as part of my training. I now want to encourage you to join the research team working tirelessly to end leprosy. Steph had to break through physical, mental, and emotional barriers to achieve her remarkable success. As a Christian, she knows that it is God who gives the strength to break through these barriers, which is just what David recognizes in Psalm 18 when he says, "It is the God who arms me with strength," in verse 31. What does David mean when he says God gives him the feet of a deer? A deer's feet, or hooves, are an anatomical wonder. When simply running, chasing other deer, or evading danger, their muscular hind legs propel them movements. The front legs serve as a pivot point to help them to make sharp turns. They can scale unusually high and difficult terrain. It is as if David is saying that it's God who enables him to move forwards, to leap ahead into the unknown at times, just as a deer's front legs act as like pivots, keeping the deer steady. In battle, David had learnt his strength from God, and that God kept him steady, whatever life's outward circumstances were. When we trust God, he gives us sure-footedness and inner peace. Within every human, there are desires to be better, to achieve more, to reach new heights. The difficulty in going to the next level of attempting new challenges often stops us in our tracks. God knows that in our pursuit of greater heights, we need to rely on him for deer-like sure-footedness and confidence to continue, however steep and seeming impassable the way ahead might appear. We, as a mission, like King David, find ourselves in a place of broadness and blessing. But God is shining his light forward, not towards well-worn paths, but to a never-travelled route, the route towards the end of leprosy. High on a hill in Anandaban in Nepal, and the pioneering work is taking place to reach the greatest heights of all. In a crumbling lab on a mountaintop, the team are making scientific breakthroughs that will have a global effect. But the lab is now at risk of closing. It's too small, not fit for purpose, and severely damaged by the terrible earthquakes in 2015. It won't pass the upcoming Nepali government inspection. Without this lab, the chance to end leprosy in our lifetime is lost forever. The research team desperately needs to develop an early diagnostic test for leprosy. This is vital to diagnose leprosy on the spot, so we can cure people as quickly as possible. They are already testing, pioneering new treatments to prevent people, like Shakti, who we will meet in a minute, suffering from disabilities because of leprosy, to save more people from the devastating effects of leprosy. We must build a new world-class research centre at Anandaban, on the roof of the world. So the latest project, each year the Leprosy Mission have a special project. One year it was for raising money for shoes, for specially made shoes for people who've had damaged feet. Another year it was they rebuilt at Purulia their outpatients department, which was crumbling to bits and overcrowded. But this year it's called Greater Heights. And we want to reach those greater heights. We want to rebuild the research centre in Anandaban. So we're now going to see a film about Anandaban and the work there. If you look at the over on the table, there is a box where you can put your used stamps. Used stamps are always a great source of finance to the Leprosy Mission, as are collectibles of any sort, stamps, coins, cigarette cards, anything that people collect, they will take, and they make an enormous amount of funds from that. So let us now see the story about Shakti.
That's the 4-minute mile there, I think. Roger Bannister. Ooh, going up the steps, Greater Heights. That's a quote from Sam. There's a deer. We're getting there, we're getting there. It's the hospital, it's in Nepal, so that's why it really is high up. So that's a bit of studying there. And this is the hospital now, and any second you can see the earthquakes really messed it up. We're coming, and let's not worry about Samuel at the moment, and Shakti's story, and Great Heights film.
Here, high on this hill in Nepal, you can be part of a research team following God's call to end leprosy. I'm Paralympian Steph Reed, and I have been so privileged to spend time with people having treatment for leprosy at Anandaban Hospital in Nepal. That's why I'm supporting the Leprosy Mission's Greater Heights appeal to build a new research center. Will you join me? I've seen the pioneering work of the research team at Anandaban to reach the greatest height of all, ending leprosy. But there's a problem. A huge problem they urgently need you to fix. Sadly, the labs are now at risk of closing. They're too small, not fit for purpose, and were severely damaged by devastating earthquakes 7 years ago. We know the labs won't pass the upcoming Nepali government inspection. If this happens, the chance to end leprosy in our lifetime will be lost forever. I can't bear to think of all we could lose. I don't want any other young person to lose a leg to leprosy like Shakti.
When
I was 2.5 years old, sore red patches appeared on my legs. The skin wouldn't heal and the wounds got bigger. Then they ulcerated. It's made me so sad. Everyone looks down on me. They don't want me around them. My neighbors hate me and won't let me leave my house. They think I'll infect their children. I just feel devastated. I came to Anandaban Hospital 6 weeks ago. The doctor told me that the disease has spread to the bone. I needed to have my leg amputated. I worked so hard to pass my school exams. I hoped to go on to university. I dreamt of studying to become a doctor, but instead, I'm here. All because the wounds won't heal. I can't be a doctor without my leg. I still want to study and work and be independent.
Earlier diagnosis and more effective treatments would have made a life-changing difference to Shakti. And this will become a reality with a new research center. I was devastated when I lost my leg in a boating accident at the age of 15. But I still had hope, knowing that God can redeem any situation. The other thing that got me through was challenging myself to reach for greater heights. And for me, that meant aiming for the Paralympics. I'm so excited about the scientific discoveries that will be made in the new cutting-edge labs, breakthroughs that will lift people like Shakti up to the great heights they deserve to achieve. But today, we face a stark choice. We either lose this amazing research center, or together, we transform it. Together, we can replace it with a new building, brick by brick. Today, will you help us build a research center where medical miracles will happen? Together, we can find new treatments that will end leprosy forever. Please help us reach the summit. A world free from leprosy depends on it. Thank you. 18 pounds a month will provide 30,000 bricks to help rebuild Anandaban Research Center. 36 pounds pays for 5,000 bricks. 105 pounds 60 pays for 15 bags of cement. 700 pounds buys a bespoke prosthetic limb. 8,000 pounds funds the cost of a laboratory at the new Anandaban Research Center.